Chapter 546, Approved. Chapter 546, Approved. An outsider, are you sure? I can't be completely sure, but I would say, at least 90% confident, Emperor Golden Snake replied solemnly. Temple Master Iceberg pondered for a while before shaking his head as usual. Even if he's an outsider, a life-death duel with him won't be easy for you. I know, and that's why I came to find you, my senior. Emperor Golden Snake turned his eyes toward Temple Master Iceberg. Folding his eyebrows, the latter became silent and did not offer a swift reply. Senior, I was lucky enough to obtain a jade slip during an opportunity once. Emperor Golden Snake inhaled a deep breath before he slowly explained, there was a message in that jade slip. It mentioned the ancient world token. What did you just say? Temple Master Iceberg, who had been sitting upright on his throne all along, suddenly stood up. A strange expression flickered faintly in his eyes. Emperor Golden Snake was not at all surprised by Temple Master Iceberg's sudden change of attitude. He was fully aware of the attraction which the ancient world token had for the latter. Senior, you didn't hear wrongly. The message in the jade slip indeed mentioned the ancient world token, Emperor Golden Snake affirmed. Quick, let me have a look at the jade slip, Temple Master Iceberg implored. With no hesitation, Emperor Golden Snake waved his hands and took out a jade slip which he passed to Temple Master Iceberg. After receiving the jade slip, Temple Master Iceberg transmitted his consciousness into it and immediately received a message. Emperor Golden Snake simply stood where he was and waited in silence. There was, however, a confident smile on his face, which grew into an unconcealable large grin by the time Temple Master Iceberg came to his senses a short while later. Golden Snake. Temple Master Iceberg looked down once more. I'm keeping this jade slip. As for the life-death duel, I'll immediately send word to the other Temple Masters to do me a favor. They can't refuse when I'm asking in my personal capacity. Thank you so much, Senior. Emperor Golden Snake became overjoyed at once. All right then. You should head back and prepare. Temple Master Iceberg waved a hand. Yes, Emperor Golden Snake acknowledged before he turned and departed. Left alone in the palace, Temple Master Iceberg was ecstatic. Ancient world token. Time flew by in the blink of an eye. At present, it had already been 10 days since the massacre of the demonic beasts. Within these 10 days, the East Camp was completely stabilized, and most of the sergeants who were lost in the battle had been replaced. At this moment, two figures swept forth from a void near to the campsite of the 7th Army. One of them was Emperor Feng Shao, who had previously bestowed the token of the 4th level of the Earth Core Palace to Jian Wushuang. The other was Emperor Xieying, who had used his hands to hold back Emperor Golden Snake. I'd personally prevented Emperor Golden Snake from killing Jian Wushuang in the past. Little did I expect that I would be in charge of announcing this matter now. Emperor Xieying heaved softly with an unpleasant look on his face. I never imagined that Golden Snake could actually find a way to make the 17 Temple Masters approve of the life-death duel. Emperor Feng Shao frowned as well. He certainly wouldn't have had the capability to do so on his own. My guess is that Temple Master Iceberg supported him and asked on his behalf, said Emperor Xieying. Temple Master Iceberg is one of the top 3 experts among the Temple Masters of my Monster Exterminating League. The other Temple Masters would usually agree to any request he makes. And most importantly, Jian Wushuang is an outsider. That's right. If he wasn't an outsider, it wouldn't be possible even if Temple Master Iceberg intervened. Emperor Feng Shao sighed. All right, enough talk. We're here. Emperor Xieying looked down toward the campsite of the 7th Army. Jian Wushuang. Emperor Xieying and Emperor Feng Shao were still standing abreast on the void when the former's voice could be heard below. Jian Wushuang, who had been studiously meditating the 6-story pagoda restriction in a tent, immediately stepped out and appeared on the void upon hearing the voice. Emperor Feng Shao, Emperor Xieying. He respectfully bowed to the two men he saw. He was grateful for the help they had given him in the past. However, they looked back at him with rather complicated looks in their eyes. Jian Wushuang. Emperor Xieying opened his mouth slightly but held back just as he was about to speak. After a long while, he sighed and said, Temple Master Pure Moon ordered me to send word that Emperor Golden Snake's proposal for a life-death duel with you has been approved by 17 Temple Masters. What? It has been approved? Jian Wushuang could not help feeling surprised. He had believed that it was practically impossible for Emperor Golden Snake to gain the approval of 17 Temple Masters, but alas. It seems that I've underestimated Emperor Golden Snake. One has to be quite capable to make 17 Temple Masters approve of the life-death duel. Jian Wushuang muttered. Emperor Xieying continued, according to the League's rules, the life-death duel must go through now that it has the approval of 17 Temple Masters. However, considering that you're only a Saint Realm expert, the disparity with Emperor Golden Snake's level is too huge, and so you'll be given a month to prepare. When a month's up, the showdown between you two shall take place in the Bloodshed Valley. A month? Jian Wushuang nodded to himself. To give him a month to prepare showed that the Monster Exterminating League was not too unreasonable. Now that I've conveyed what I was ordered to, I shall leave. Emperor Xieying turned and departed as soon as he finished speaking. However, Emperor Fengshao was not in the same hurry, and instead came up beside Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Emperor Fengshao looked at the latter with a slight smile. Emperor Fengshao. Jian Wushuang humbly acknowledged. You amazed me during the Divine General Assessment in Heaven Wing City. But now, you have amazed me even more. Emperor Fengshao laughed. Already feeling the pressure of the life-death duel with Emperor Golden Snake that takes place in a month's time? Yes, a little. Jian Wushuang nodded his head indicatively. A life-death duel was different from a typical fight. In a typical fight, he would be able to escape even if he could not defeat Emperor Golden Snake, and so he would not be the least bit worried about the latter. But in a life-death duel, someone had to die, and that would be him if he was weaker than his opponent. There's no way out. None of the Temple Masters sided with you after the League found out you're an outsider, Emperor Fengshao said. Jian Wushuang could not help laughing bitterly upon hearing this. He finally understood that his background affected the Temple Masters' feeling toward him, and thus explained why they gave their approval. You can't change the fact that the life-death duel has been set. It's too late even if you think of escaping now. Unless you flee to a territory occupied by demonic beasts and never return to human territory, that is. Emperor Golden Snake alone won't scare me away. Jian Wushuang laughed easily. What a joke of a suggestion. While in the Divine Land, he had safely emerged from an encounter with an entire bunch of super experts and above from the Cloud Realm, who were equivalent in level to the Temple Masters of the Monster Exterminating League. Emperor Golden Snake was merely a normal emperor and thus was not going to scare him away. Chapter 547, Attainments. Chapter 547, Attainments. Jian Wushuang, let me remind you not to underestimate Emperor Golden Snake too much, Emperor Fengshao suddenly quipped. Oh? Jian Wushuang looked in surprise at him. He has always kept a low profile among the 108 divine emperors, such that everyone considers him to be the weakest among them. However, nobody knows how strong he really is. After all, he has never fought a life-death battle, whether against humans or demonic beasts, Emperor Fengshao noted. I have had some dealings with him. Even though we've never fought, I always felt that his strength wasn't as simple as it looked. He might have exchanged blows with you before, but I can assure you that he wasn't using his full strength. Jian Wushuang's gaze became slightly fixed upon hearing this. He never imagined that Emperor Fengshao would give such a high estimation of Emperor Golden Snake. In any case, the outcome of the life-death duel in a month's time will depend on your skill. I have two things here that should assist you somewhat. Emperor Fengshao took out a jade slip and a purple golden fruit which gave off an enchanting fragrance. What are they? Jian Wushuang looked doubtfully at the two items and was in no hurry to receive them. This jade slip contains some of my Dao attainments, and also many occults from the Waterdrop Sword principle which I meditated upon. It'll be helpful as a reference for your Dao meditation. Emperor Fengxiao added, "This is called a soul fruit. I obtained 2 of them by chance during my time wandering the monster territory, and have already consumed one. A soul fruit is a very special natural treasure and can be used to elevate one's soul. I'd only ever awakened 2 sword souls, but after consuming the soul fruit, I awakened a 3rd. As for your sword souls, they're very peculiar, or should I say, frightening, but there's still plenty of room to grow. The soul fruit will definitely be useful to you." These words jolted Jian Wushuang's heart. Emperor Fengxiao's Dao attainments, occults from his meditation of the water-drop sword principle, and the soul fruit. These things were not just useful but extremely useful to him. But why was Emperor Fengxiao willing to give him such precious things? Previously, Emperor Fengxiao had also unconditionally given him the token of the 4th level of the Earth Core Palace, which was extraordinarily valuable and incomparably well regarded among the divine emperors. Jian Wushuang had asked himself why the former took such great care of him even though they did not have a pre-existing relationship. "Take them." Emperor Fengxiao held the jade slip and soul fruit in front of Jian Wushuang and smiled. "I was greatly inspired by your display of swordsmanship during the divine general assessment. If not for that, I might never have mastered the sword movement which I painstakingly studied, and I would never have made such a fast breakthrough regarding the bottleneck that was troubling me in my sword principle cultivation. You helped me a great deal. These are my gifts to you." Jian Wushuang only now understood that the swordsmanship he displayed during the divine general assessment had inspired and thereby helped Emperor Fengxiao. That explained why the latter would be so caring toward him. "Thank you so much." Jian Wushuang expressed his gratitude before less courteously accepting the items. "You have a month to prepare. Go and get ready. I wish that you'll get through safely." Emperor Fengxiao glanced at Jian Wushuang and made his leave without saying any more. Jian Wushuang made his way down to the campsite, where Qinghua came up to him as soon as he landed. "Brother Wushuang, what happened?" Qinghua frowned. "I'll be fighting a life-death duel with Emperor Golden Snake in a month's time," Jian Wushuang replied. "How's that possible?" Qinghua was astounded. How did Emperor Golden Snake gain the approval of 17 temple masters for it? They only approved because Temple Master Golden Mountain personally intervened and the Monster Exterminating League found out I'm an outsider, Jian Wushuang answered. "Temple Master Golden Mountain?" Qinghua showed a slight change in countenance. "Qinghua, I'm going to leave East Camp." "All right. You only have a month, so go and get prepared," Qinghua solemnly said. Nodding, Jian Wushuang promptly went and applied to leave East Camp. The process was very simple and only took half a day. After handing over all of his responsibilities in the camp, he made a swift departure. A month may not be long, but it's also not too short. I must find a way to increase my strength during this time, Jian Wushuang muttered to himself. The first thing he did was to find a private place where he could thoroughly study the jade slip that Emperor Fengxiao gave him. The place he chose was the Sky Solitude Mountains. The mountains were vast in range and had few passers-by. After finding a spot in one of them where he sat cross-legged, he took out the jade slip and began to look through its messages. The jade slip contained Emperor Fengxiao's Dao ideas and attainments, and also several of his thoughts regarding the water-drop sword principle. It was a very diverse mix of messages. It took a long time for Jian Wushuang to look through all of the messages in the jade slip. So, this is what Dao is really like. There was a hint of enlightenment in his eyes. He had many long-standing questions about Dao as he had never come into contact with it and did not understand it at all. All he knew was that it was highly intriguing. In the Divine Land, for instance, Su Ming's illusory sword principle and Blind Emperor's heart sword principle were profound like none other. It was only now, having looked through Emperor Fengxiao's thoughts and attainments, that he understood. Dao is an evolved form of origin. When one's understanding of origin reached a certain level, the origin would evolve into the higher level Dao. This type of evolution had a very complicated process which could only be completed if one had unique understandings of and attainments in origin. For example, Emperor Fengxiao derived the water-drop sword principle from his understandings of the water-drop origin. But there were still things Jian Wushuang could not understand. According to Emperor Fengxiao, he combined the sword principle and waterdrop origin to develop the waterdrop sword principle, which I find a little odd even though it's a Dao. He frowned tightly. It seemed to him that origins were origins and sword principles were sword principles, that the two were completely different. The latter should purely be evolved from the former. Instead, Emperor Fengxiao's waterdrop sword principle was not a pure evolution of the waterdrop origin but required the addition and support of the sword principle in order to be developed. The waterdrop sword principle seemingly deviates from the essence of the waterdrop origin. Jian Wushuang shook his head involuntarily. Chapter 548, Soul Fruit. Chapter 548, Soul Fruit. Jian Wushuang sat deep in thought. Emperor Fengxiao's attainments and understandings are extremely useful to me in any case. At the very least, I have a fresh understanding of Tao. Although I cannot readily agree with some of his ideas, everyone has his own Tao just as everyone has his own path in life. I just need to draw 1 or 2 lessons from his work. I have to keep doing my own study in order to develop my own Tao based on my own ideas. Without thinking further, Jian Wushuang inhaled a deep breath and took out the soul fruit. Soul fruit. A hint of anticipation appeared in his eyes as he gazed at the purple golden fruit which gave off an enchanting fragrance. According to Emperor Fengxiao, this is tremendously effective at boosting one's soul, and a person can only consume one such fruit in a lifetime. I wonder what use it has for my sword soul. After murmuring to himself, Jian Wushuang opened his mouth and swallowed the soul fruit without hesitation. Upon reaching the stomach, the soul fruit transformed into a strange energy and moved toward the sword soul in the sea of consciousness. An incomparably sharp golden sword soul had been quietly floating in Jian Wushuang's sea of consciousness. However, it clearly became excited and began to tremble frantically when the strange energy appeared. It then opened what resembled a large mouth toward the energy. It took barely a moment for the golden sword soul to completely swallow the energy. Jian Wushuang immediately sensed that the golden sword soul was changing. What a wonderful feeling this is! He could feel that his sword soul was leveling up at an astonishing speed. Though it was already very sharp and powerful to start with, its golden radiance became increasingly dazzling yet. It took a long time before the improvement gradually ceased. As he looked at the golden sword soul in his sea of consciousness, Jian Wushuang could see that it was obviously a size bigger, and also more sharp and dazzling, than before. Just as some ideas sprang to his mind, the majestic golden sword soul phantom began to rise fiercely behind him. Boom! The golden sword soul phantom gave off a haughty, world-belittling, supreme sword essence as it made its appearance. For a while, it seemed to outshine the sun. There was a drastic change in the height and size of the golden sword soul phantom that just appeared. Originally only 18 zhang, 211 feet, tall, its height was now an impressive 24 zhang, 282 feet. This meant that it was comparable to several large mountains. In Jian Wushuang's hand appeared the triple kill sword, which he flung casually toward the void ahead, aided by the majestic sword soul power. Swish! The void unexpectedly emitted a violent wind-breaking sound, and instantly, an immaterial sword essence wave swept forth with an extremely powerful momentum. Jian Wushuang's countenance changed and his eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. My sword soul has greatly improved and become more powerful indeed. It should be remembered that in a month's time, the life-death duel between Jian Wushuang and Emperor Golden Snake was, as its name suggested, a fight he would either win or perish in. Any improvement to his strength would be extremely important to him, not to mention improvement to his sword soul, which had such an obvious effect on his strength. Emperor Fengxiao has indeed given me a great gift. I must remember this favor. He thought to himself. Having gained a general understanding of Tao and a drastic improvement to his sword soul, Jian Wushuang immediately headed toward the holy place. In the monster exterminating pagoda of the holy place. The monster exterminating pagoda was the treasure vault of the monster exterminating league. All kinds of countless treasures belonging to the league were stored here, and they were all purchasable so long as one could pay enough monster cores. Jian Wushuang walked up to the counter. I need the 7th, 8th, and 9th cultivation levels of the bone fusion technique. Here are the monster cores to exchange for them. Jian Wushuang took out an interspatial ring. He had reaped huge earnings from the East Camp's large war and thus could afford 3 levels of the technique. However, he could not afford the monster cores needed for level 10. Wait a second. A white-robed elder at the counter went into the inner hall, but stepped out shortly after and handed 3 jade slips to Jian Wushuang. The higher cultivation levels of the bone fusion technique were more expensively priced. The 7th level and above could only be separately exchanged for, and so each level was accounted for using a jade slip. Jian Wushuang left the monster exterminating pagoda after receiving the 3 levels. He then found a place to begin cultivating them. The bone fusion technique was a pure body reshaping technique and was divided into 12 levels. The first couple of levels were easier to cultivate, but the later ones became progressively more difficult. It placed greatest emphasis on the body's foundation. Jian Wushuang's physical strength was unparalleled, while his foundation, forged from the heavenly creation skill, was all the more indestructible. It was easy to cultivate the bone fusion technique from the 1st to the 6th level, such that he ran into practically no problems doing so. As for the 7th, 8th, and 9th levels, Jian Wushuang found that cultivating level 7 was similarly easy, and he was able to do so quickly without a hitch. However, he had some difficulty beginning from the 8th level. It took him 2 days to complete the cultivation of level 8. Among the 12 levels of the bone fusion technique, every 4 levels constituted a volume. The 8th level was only a part of the middle volume, whereas the 9th was a part of the lower volume, which once cultivated would cause one's body to undergo a qualitative metamorphosis, and was more difficult. Half a month passed. This was the time it took for Jian Wushuang to cultivate level 9 of the bone fusion technique. In an uncared-for mountain forest outside the holy place, Jian Wushuang was standing half-naked under the scorching sun. Just then, his right hand clenched forcefully, and an explosive force formed in it. At the same time, his joints began to make a crackling noise. Hua! With a groan, the fist, which had been gathering strength, smashed directly toward the void ahead. Boom! The world shook. The void, having been violently struck, turned into a storm. Jian Wushuang's eyes glimmered upon witnessing this scene. My body strength is at least 4 times greater than it was. This was the result of cultivating level 9 of the bone fusion technique. Not only did the strength of his body increase, but more importantly, its tenacity increased all the more absurdly. Rather than the effectiveness of the bone fusion technique, this could be attributed to a greater extent to the fact that Jian Wushuang's body foundation was too vigorous. It should be known that among the many divine emperors of the Monster Exterminating League, only 3 had cultivated level 9 of the bone fusion technique, whereas most of them had only cultivated up to level 8. Even the temple masters of the league mostly remained at level 9. Yet, despite being only a Saint Realm expert, Jian Wushuang had managed to cultivate said level. I'm starting to look forward to the life-death duel with Emperor Golden Snake. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes, within which a hint of battle intent rose. Chapter 549, A Life-Death Duel in the Bloodshed Valley. Chapter 549, A Life-Death Duel in the Bloodshed Valley. There were still 10 or so days to go before the life-death duel. Rather than idling, Jian Wushuang spent this time cultivating an Earth Core Palace. Jian Wushuang had used the greater part of the monster cores he obtained from the East Camp War to exchange for level 7 to 9 of the bone fusion technique. The remaining monster cores could barely afford access to level 3, let alone level 4, of Earth Core Palace. Hence, Jian Wushuang spent these days cultivating on level 2 of Earth Core Palace. The strength of the origin on level 2 naturally could not compare to that on level 4. Nevertheless, there was a substantial improvement in Jian Wushuang's origin enlightenment after the 10 or so days of meditation. Especially the slaughter origin. I've gained insight into 998 out of the 999 types of slaughter occults of the 6-story pagoda's first restriction. Only one remains. Jian Wushuang sat in the secret chamber with his brows slightly drawn. According to Di Jing, one would naturally pass the Dao threshold upon gaining an understanding of every slaughter occult of the six-story pagoda's first restriction. However, Qian Wushuang did not see any sign of Dao enlightenment despite being only one step away. Di Jing's ancestors were almighty super experts outside the ancient world. He wouldn't lie to me. It seems that the final slaughter occult is the real key, he muttered. The final slaughter occult was the last step. However, Qian Wushuang could not gain insight into it despite meditating upon it. He thus understood that the final slaughter occult was a bottleneck. I now have a great understanding of the world origin and slaughter origin, way surpassing that of typical Cloud Realm experts. In fact, I feel that my origin enlightenment is enough to condense the 9th origin mark, which still doesn't show any sign of condensing nonetheless. He felt utterly helpless. However, what brought him more joy was that the triple kill sword made a breakthrough during his time in Earthcore Palace. The triple kill sword was a magic weapon of killing which was produced according to the heart-killing sword. Because of Leng Rushuang, it had been upgraded to a first-grade magic weapon early on in the Nanyang continent. Subsequently, its power continued to increase gradually to the limits for a first-grade magic weapon thanks to Qian Wushuang's adventures in the Divine Land and participation in vicious battles, throughout which he killed many experts. The opportunity for a genuine breakthrough was brought about by the blood of the demonic beasts which Qian Wushuang massacred using the triple kill sword on the Sky-Fire Plains. Upon breakthrough, the first-grade magic weapon became a Dao weapon and doubled in power. The life-death duel should be starting soon, right? Qian Wushuang suddenly stood up and left the secret chamber. He started to make his way toward the venue of the life-death duel. In the Bloodshed Valley of the Holy Place. The place was so named because of the life-death duel. The Monster Exterminating League was an alliance formed by countless human experts whose aim was to work together to fight against the demonic beasts. Although most of these experts were very united, there was bound to be a few internal conflicts and rivalries. Some of these rivalries could absolutely not be defused, and only ended in fatal fights. It was for this reason that the League established the life-death duel. Any expert under the command of the League, whether it be a divine general or a divine emperor, could apply for a life-death duel if he had an irresolvable grudge which could only be settled in a fatal fight. The duel could proceed as long as the League's highest tier of experts approved. It would then take place right here in the Bloodshed Valley. A month ago, news percolated through the holy place that one of the 108 divine emperors, Emperor Golden Snake, wanted a life-death duel with a mere Saint Realm expert, shocking a large number of the League's divine emperors and divine generals. Today was the day of the duel. Many of the League's experts were hurriedly making their way to the Bloodshed Valley. Lofty mountains surrounded the large and vast canyon, in the middle of which, however, was an extensive space for two divine experts to fight without restraint. Moreover, behind the mountains was a powerful restriction. This restriction was said to have been set up by two temple masters. Although they used minimal effort, it was impossible to break in a short amount of time even by a superior emperor. At this moment, levitating around the restriction were numerous experts who were looking through the transparent restriction toward the Bloodshed Valley. There was already a figure standing frostily on a void in the middle of the Bloodshed Valley. He was none other than Emperor Golden Snake. Gee, it's Emperor Golden Snake, one of the 108 divine emperors. Although life-death duels regularly take place in the Bloodshed Valley, most of them are between two divine generals. As for duels between divine emperors, an expert of this level is too valuable to the League's strength to risk perishing in duels, and so the temple masters wouldn't approve of duels between two divine emperors unless absolutely necessary. Divine emperors are therefore rarely seen in Bloodshed Valley, yet we see one today. It's a pity that the other contestant isn't a divine emperor but instead a feeble Saint Realm expert, and that it was Emperor Golden Snake who proposed the duel. This Saint Realm expert should be proud of the chance to fight a life-death duel against Emperor Golden Snake. In my opinion, Emperor Golden Snake is just picking on the weak. Isn't it a clear case of bullying for a dignified divine emperor to challenge a Saint Realm expert to a duel? I don't understand what those temple masters thought when they approved of it. I heard that Emperor Golden Snake only proposed the duel because the Saint Realm expert killed his son. There was an incomparable clamor outside the restriction as the divine generals casually chatted with one another. Opposite them were a few dozen figures who quietly levitated in the air. These were the divine emperors who had come to watch the duel. Hee, what a lively and crowded place this is today. Tian Wu, haven't you been hacking it in the monster territory? When did you come back? Elder Su, you've always been this hermit creature that disregarded the outside world. Why suddenly the spare time to watch this duel? Feng Xiao, I heard that you have quite a good relationship with Jian Wushuang, is that true? The divine emperors too engaged in leisure conversations. There were yet more figures present in the uppermost void. These people were the temple masters who held the leadership of the Monster Exterminating League. Chapter 550, The Duel Begins. Chapter 550, The Duel Begins. In all, 9 out of the League's 33 temple masters were present. The others apparently did not have enough free time to come spectate. There have been countless life-death duels held since the establishment of the Monster Exterminating League. However, this is probably the first between a divine emperor and a saint realm expert, right? The absolute beauty, Temple Master Pure Moon, said while bathing in the sunlight and radiating her incomparable warmth. A duel between a divine emperor and a saint realm expert does seem a little too much. A burly man who carried a giant axe on his back stood with his arms crossed and his crimson brows slightly furrowed. Although 17 temple masters had approved of Emperor Golden Snake's proposal for a life-death duel, there was a small number of temple masters, including this burly man, who disapproved. Temple Master Iceberg, this life-death duel is all thanks to you. I'm really curious as to what price Golden Snake paid you such that you willingly got off your high horse to plead with each and every temple master. From what I know, the relationship between you two isn't close enough that you would naturally put in so much effort for him. Temple Master Pure Moon glanced at Temple Master Iceberg with a strange expression. Golden Snake regards me as his master and has always paid me great respect. Why can't I lend him a hand? Besides, although Jian Wushuang has unparalleled talent, he's after all just an outsider, and it's a matter of time before he leaves Monster Continent. Should I have helped him over someone who has dutifully served the League? That does make sense. Temple Master Pure Moon nodded and said no more. Nothing could be done. Given Jian Wushuang's outsider status, the League's temple masters naturally had to side with Emperor Golden Snake even if to varying extents. Look, Jian Wushuang has arrived. Temple Master Pure Moon suddenly raised her head. Together with the numerous divine emperors and divine generals outside the restriction, the present temple masters raised their heads one after another and looked toward the valley. On the vast void in the Bloodshed Valley, a beam of black flowing light whizzed past and quickly revealed a figure not too far in front of Emperor Golden Snake. Carrying the triple kill sword on his back, Jian Wushuang wore a slight smile on his face and crossed his arms. Jian Wushuang appears to be quite the confident sort, no? Temple Master Pure Moon was taken by surprise. Once he appeared in the Bloodshed Valley, the Saint Realm aura on his body began to spread without the slightest conceit. He's indeed only a Saint Realm expert. Although he's only a Saint Realm expert, there's a second-grade Divine General's token aura on his body. How's that possible? What's so impossible about that? Don't you know that a month ago, there was a mass slaughter of demonic beasts in the East Camp, during which Master Jian revealed his strength to be much greater than that of second-grade Divine Generals? Yes, I just returned from East Camp and did hear about that. Jian Wushuang is indeed an incredible super genius. What a pity that such a super genius is about to die. Sobbing and sighing noises filled the area around the Bloodshed Valley. However, the restriction completely sealed them off from reaching the battlefield. This allowed the two men in the battlefield, Jian Wushuang and Emperor Golden Snake, to focus completely on the duel. However, noises from within the battlefield did transmit outward. It was quiet within the valley. The only noise was that of a gentle passing breeze. Jian Wushuang and Emperor Golden Snake stood facing each other at a distance of 100 zhang, 1,094 feet. Jian Wushuang's expression was indifferent and his eyes carried no emotion. Conversely, Emperor Golden Snake stared at him with glacial eyes that conveyed a heinous resentment. "You're pretty brave," Emperor Golden Snake spoke in the frostiest of tones. "I'd thought you would flee to the territory occupied by demonic beasts and never return to the human world." "You're not good enough to scare me away," Jian Wuxuang quipped nonchalantly. "Hee, those are some confident words, or should I say, self-flattery." A smile formed on the corner of Emperor Golden Snake's mouth. "If that's the case, I shall take your life away today. It'll count as revenge for my son even though it's a month late." "Revenge? Or maybe I'll send you to reunite with your son in the netherworld." Jian Wuxuang sneered. "You can try." A grim-faced Emperor Golden Snake opened his mouth and extended his tongue to lick his lips, resembling a venomous snake. An upsurging aura gradually diffused from his body. "Come." With scorching eyes and an eager heart, Jian Wuxuang clenched his fists tightly. He had previously exchanged blows with Su Ming, a divine emperor-level expert who possessed Tao enlightenment. At that time, he summoned all of his skill and effort but was nevertheless completely outclassed by the latter, for the gulf between them was too big. However, having gone through several months of cultivation in the monster continent, he was no longer the same as his former self. The current him longed for a life-death duel with a genuine divine emperor. Others may think that it's far-fetched for a Saint Realm expert to duel a divine emperor. But in my case, that isn't necessarily impossible. Let's fight. As Jian Wuxuang involuntarily growled, an upsurging battle intent poured out of his body and shook the whole world. Emperor Golden Snake exhaled a breath and made eye contact with Jian Wuxuang, producing a tangible flame. The next moment, swish! The figures of both men vanished simultaneously. They went missing at the same time. Ha! Outside the restriction, the spectating divine generals frantically looked over. Before they could discern the figures of Jian Wuxuang and Emperor Golden Snake, two figures had already convened in the centermost of the void in the Bloodshed Valley. The triple kill sword was already in Jian Wuxuang's hand. It promptly struck forth with irresistible force. Similarly, the pitch-black machete in Emperor Golden Snake's tight grip struck out. A sword shadow and a blade light instantly collided. The spectators were still frenziedly searching for the two figures when a violent boom erupted. Boom! The sound reverberated throughout the universe like a thunderclap that abruptly sounded from a fine and cloudless sky. Subsequently, the earth and mountains of the Bloodshed Valley began to quake violently. At the point where the collision took place, an almighty power formed into a huge wave which swept unbridled in all directions at an astonishing speed. Buzz! The wave spread downward and instantly sank into the ground beneath the duel. A huge pit with a diameter of nearly 100 zhang appeared in front of everyone. Sovereigns who were gathered in the air outside the restriction also grew grave when they noticed the black scimitars change. "I've seen this move, it's powerful," Emperor Fengxiao said. Emperor Fengxiao's acknowledgement meant that the move was really powerful. Golden Snake has always been secretive. Even when he fights against demonic beasts, he seldom displays his full skills. It's rare to see him use his trump card. No one would have expected him to use it against a Saint Realm today. As a Saint Realm, Jian Wuxuang should be proud that Golden Snake isn't holding back in this battle, even if he is ultimately killed. What a pity. If he wasn't an outsider but born in Monster Continent, things would be different. They all sighed as they imagined Jian Wuxuang being killed. This was the natural order of things. A Saint Realm was much weaker than a divine emperor. They thought it extraordinary that Jian Wuxuang had forced Emperor Golden Snake to play his trump card. They had never expected more. On the battlefield, Emperor Golden Snake raised his black scimitar slowly, on which an enormous power was gathering. The spectators were quiet. People outside the restriction looked on with bated breath. As he faced Emperor Golden Snake, Jian Wuxuang clearly felt the overwhelming threat of the black scimitar. Battle intent in his eyes rose suddenly and sharply. "Let's fight head-on," Jian Wuxuang suddenly shouted and his spiritual power swelled. A sharp light materialized from behind him. A stream of supreme sword essence erupted. Next, a 60-meter-high golden sword soul phantom rose behind Jian Wushuang. The golden sword soul phantom stood on the top of the world with an unyielding and oppressive aura, with supreme sword essence sweeping across it. Jian Wushuang stood under the golden sword soul phantom like a war god. The long sword in his hand had transformed. The triple kill sword had been replaced by heart-killing sword. His blood fire domain began to spread out as well. Azura secret skill, road to the underworld. Azura secret skill, bridge of helplessness. All his skills were displayed simultaneously. Jian Wushuang's battle strength had peaked. Chapter 552, Overwhelming Superiority in Strength. Chapter 552, Overwhelming Superiority in Strength. Jian Wushuang, go to hell. Emperor Golden Snake muttered softly. Following this, he slashed down fiercely with the black scimitar that he had raised high above him. Abruptly, darkness fell. Only a brilliant stake of black blade light remained that lit up the area. In that instant, the light from the scimitar became a focal point. So many people in the world want to kill me, you're not qualified to be one of them. Jian Wushuang's cold voice reverberated through the bloodshed valley. In the next moment, he drew out his sword. Without a sound, its sword shadow moved forward with destructive power. It was even more dazzling than the black blade light. The fourth move of heart-killing sword technique, sheer shadow. This was a powerful sword skill displayed through heart-killing sword. While Jian Wushuang hadn't brought the heart-killing sword's power into full play, this move shocked the spectators. Outside the restriction, divine generals, divine emperors and temple masters held their breaths as they looked on in anticipation. All eyes were fixed on the events unfolding on the battlefield. They witnessed the two terrible forces collide in the bloodshed valley. Unexpectedly, there was no fierce collision or deafening roar. The winner had been determined as soon as the two forces collided. Everyone present, including the divine emperors and temple masters, were wide-eyed as they looked on in disbelief. How could this be? A divine emperor roared. Impossible! Temple Master Pure Moon exclaimed with eyes filled with amazement. The boy, even Temple Master Golden Mountain, who had thus far maintained a calm and expressionless facade, looked visibly stunned. When the two forces collided, the dark blade light from Emperor Golden Snake had been totally destroyed by Jian Wushuang's sword shadow. It had stood no chance against Jian Wushuang's attack. After the sword shadow had crushed the blade light, it had continued its charge towards Emperor Golden Snake and struck him heavily. The impact had thrown him against a mountain at the edge of Bloodshed Valley. Bang! Emperor Golden Snake rammed into the stone wall, leaving a crater-like depression where he landed. Silence descended. Not a sound could be heard. Outside the restriction, experts watching the fight were stunned. They couldn't believe what they had seen. It was amazing that a Saint Realm had forced a divine emperor to display his trump card. All of them had thought that Jian Wushuang would die when Emperor Golden Snake displayed his ultimate move. The sovereign's eyes had been filled with pity when they looked at Jian Wushuang. But now? Did he die? No. Instead of being killed, he had completely overpowered Emperor Golden Snake in the head-on fight. Right, Golden Snake had been completely overpowered. Emperor Golden Snake was far weaker than Jian Wushuang in offensive power. Incredible. A Saint Realm defeated a divine emperor. I don't know what to say. Who said that Jian Wushuang would die? Speechless, the divine emperors exchanged shocked glances. What they had seen exceeded their expectations. They had never heard that a Saint Realm could be so strong. In fact, only Jian Wushuang himself was unsurprised. Power of Tao is far above the origin. After mastering bone fusion techniques level 9, my physical strength alone is almost strong as that of second-grade divine generals. Besides, I have sword soul power. All these make me that powerful. Besides that, I also displayed the fourth move of heart-killing sword technique with heart-killing sword. And Azura's secret skill, the realm and bridge of helplessness. How could Emperor Golden Snake withstand all these moves? Except for power of Tao, I'm stronger than Golden Snake in other aspects. It would have been shocking to lose to him. Jian Wushuang had absolute confidence in his strength. A month ago, he would not have been confident to defeat Emperor Golden Snake. Since then, his strength had skyrocketed. He was now even stronger than a normal divine emperor in offensive power. Right at this moment, brattling in the crater, a figure rose. Though he was embarrassed, Emperor Golden Snake's aura was still as strong as before. Jian Wushuang looked at Emperor Golden Snake in surprise. Emperor Golden Snake had been hit by his sword essence power. Even if he had a strong body, it was impossible that he wasn't hurt at all. This guy. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. Outside the restriction, divine emperors reacted in surprise. How could Golden Snake not get hurt after being hit like that? It's Dao. Emperor Fengxiao said gravely. All eyes turned to Emperor Fengxiao. Emperor Fengxiao said grimly, Phantom, it's Phantom Dao. It's formed from Saber Principle. Though not pure, it's rare. I hadn't expected that he had comprehended Gale's Saber Principle and Phantom Saber Principle at the same time. Two Dao at the same time, and he is much better at Phantom Saber Principle. Just now, he dodged Jian Wushuang's sword shadow using Phantom Saber Principle. That's why he didn't get hurt. This guy. Emperor Fengxiao's face fell. Hearing Emperor Fengxiao's words, the divine emperors were shocked. Did he comprehend two Dao? This Emperor Golden Snake? Emperor Golden Snake is secretive. Chapter 553, Triple Phantom Saber Move. Chapter 553, Triple Phantom Saber Move. He concealed it so deeply. The temple masters in the void also looked at Emperor Golden Snake in surprise. Among the 108 divine emperors, Emperor Golden Snake had always been low-key and seldom fought with others. In his confrontations with demonic beasts, he had only used Gale's Saber Principle. Therefore, the people of Monster Exterminating League, including the divine emperors, had thought that he was just an ordinary divine emperor. No one had expected that Emperor Golden Snake had comprehended two Dao simultaneously. More importantly, his understanding of Phantom Saber Principle was more profound than they had guessed. Why did he keep it under wraps? Temple Master Pure Moon frowned. Even Temple Master Golden Mountain, who knew Emperor Golden Snake well, was surprised. He hadn't known that Emperor Golden Snake had comprehended Phantom Saber Principle and couldn't understand why he had kept that fact under wraps. Monster Exterminating League was a united organization and Emperor Golden Snake had no deadly enemies. Why then did he hide the extent of his skills? There must be a reason. After the duel, I will ask him. Temple Master Golden Mountain told himself. On the battlefield, Jian Wushuang stared coldly at Emperor Golden Snake. It seems they all look down on you. Jian Wushuang said in a hostile tone, remembering what Emperor Fengxiao had told him. Emperor Fengxiao had warned him that few knew Emperor Golden Snake's real strength because he had always been low-key. This was indeed the case. Once I display Phantom Saber Principle, I will have endless trouble. To avenge my son's death, I have no choice. Emperor Golden Snake's face was sullen. Phantom Saber Principle was his last trump card and he would not have used it unless absolutely necessary. In the Monster Exterminating League, no one, not even those close to him, knew about this. He wasn't planning on using it, but now he had to. Boy, you should be proud. Emperor Golden Snake said in a deep voice as he stared at Jian Wushuang. I created Triple Phantom Saber Move but I've never displayed it in front of others. You are the first. A death caused by it is a worthy one. Triple Phantom Saber Move. Jian Wushuang's glare froze. Watch carefully. Emperor Golden Snake was so confident of his Triple Phantom Saber Move that he preempted Jian Wushuang before he made his move. Jian Wushuang's face was grim. Emperor Golden Snake was still holding his black scimitar. At this moment, he slashed it at will. As the black scimitar was slashed from a distance of 30 meters, the dark sharp light had reached Jian Wushuang. What? Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly darkened. Too fast. He was shocked by its speed. It was as if Emperor Golden Snake had slashed the sword right in front of him, rather than at a distance of 30 meters. The attack was so sudden that Jian Wushuang had no time to use his swordsmanship and gather power. Instead, he instinctively raised his sword. Bang! The impact threw Jian Wushuang off, but he regained his footing after a while. Quick reaction. Emperor Golden Snake stared at Jian Wushuang with ice-cold eyes. That's just the first move. Now comes the second. Jian Wushuang looked grave as he stared at Emperor Golden Snake. He was on high alert. Jian Wushuang was still recovering from his shock. The first move had been fast, indubitably, the second would be faster. Whoosh! Emperor Golden Snake moved like a phantom. As Jian Wushuang saw Emperor Golden Snake move, a black light which had been less than a meter away rushed towards his head. This strike was faster and more terrible than the first. At such a close distance, there was no room for Jian Wushuang to use his heart-killing sword. He could only raise it to his chest. Clang! It's great that you have fended off those attacks, but that won't be enough. The third move is the most powerful. You must die. Emperor Golden Snake made this pronouncement coldly, as though he had just sentenced Jian Wushuang to death. Jian Wushuang held his breath. The experts outside the restriction watched in tense silence. They also wanted to witness for themselves the strength of the last move. As the spectators watched, Emperor Golden Snake suddenly moved. Whoosh! 8 Emperor Golden Snakes appeared in the air. These were 8 Emperor Golden Snakes, rather than his residual shadows. The figures besieged Jian Wushuang. God! What's that? 8 Emperor Golden Snakes? Experts outside the restriction were stunned. Phantom, 8 phantoms. Has he mastered the Phantom Saber principle so perfectly? Emperor Fengshao exclaimed. On the battlefield, 8 Emperor Golden Snakes surrounded Jian Wushuang. Suddenly, they raised their black scimitars in concert with cold smiles. The 8 Emperor's Golden Snakes attacked Jian Wushuang simultaneously. He wasn't able to tell which was the original body of Emperor Golden Snake. The black scimitars continued their fervent slashes. As the attacks grew faster and stronger, Jian Wushuang couldn't tell where the blade light came from. He discovered its source when he felt a coldness at his back. By then, it was too late. Chapter 554, The Last Step. Chapter 554, The Last Step. Ice-cold blade light from behind him stabbed towards his heart. The attack had happened too quickly. When Jian Wushuang realized what was happening, the blade light had been less half a centimeter away him. It was too close to escape. There was nowhere to run to. Since I can't escape from it, let me face it. A crazy thought flashed in Jian Wushuang's mind and he tried to face the incoming attack with his body. Immediately, his spiritual power surged and a strong spiritual power shield surrounded his heart. Go to hell. Emperor Golden Snake's face was ferocious and his eyes were filled with strong killing intent. The sharp black scimitar stabbed Jian Wushuang's heart. Clang! A clash resounded as power undulated violently in the air. Almost immediately, heavy wind and a storm materialized. Experts outside the restriction stared at the battlefield center. There, the 8 Emperor Golden Snakes had become one. Emperor Golden Snake's original body held on tightly to his black scimitar with its blade pushed against Jian Wushuang's heart. Space and time froze. Everything stopped. What? Emperor Golden Snake's resentful eyes were full of astonishment now. He looked at Jian Wushuang's back in shock. Jian Wushuang's clothes had been torn, revealing a scarlet leather armor. This was the Blood Kylan leather armor that Jian Wushuang had obtained in Heaven Wing City. Though Blood Kylan leather armor was hard, it had still been pierced by the black scimitar. Having gotten past the armor, the black scimitar would have pierced Jian Wushuang's heart. However, it had stopped when upon entering Jian Wushuang's flesh. Stuck in Jian Wuxuang's flesh and blood, the black scimitar couldn't move forward. It was as though a barrier had stopped the black scimitar. This. Experts outside the restriction were stunned. Emperor Golden Snake's most powerful move had merely injured Jian Wuxuang's skin. The scimitar had not gone deeper. What a powerful body! Everyone, including the temple masters, were shocked. Though they had completed bone fusion techniques level 9, they believed that they would be dead if they had to face a similar attack from Emperor Golden Snake. But Jian Wuxuang, a Saint Realm, had not died. Such a powerful body. They didn't know that Jian Wuxuang had not only mastered bone fusion techniques level 9, but more importantly, he had practiced heavenly creation skill. He had reached venerable master level. What differentiated him from the others was his powerful body. Beside his strong outer body, every muscle, bone and cell of his body was much stronger than a normal person. The scimitar had broken his spiritual power shield, blood Kylan leather armor and even his skin, but it couldn't go any deeper. For the scimitar to pierce Jian Wuxuang's heart, Emperor Golden Snake's offensive power would need to be twice what it was now. Over the void, Emperor Golden Snake had backed off with a look of disbelief. Jian Wuxuang, who was now attracting many incredulous stares, closed his eyes. Why did he close his eyes? He closed his eyes? What is he doing? Is he trying to recover from the injury? The onlookers were puzzled. Some guessed he was trying to recover as he was heavily wounded. Only Jian Wuxuang knew that their guesses were wrong. He had fended off the attacks perfectly and had not suffered any serious injuries. He closed his eyes because enlightenment had entered his mind. Yes, it was enlightenment. While facing Emperor Golden Snake's scimitar, he had a sense of crisis and had tried his best to fend it off. Then enlightenment appeared. Level 1 restriction of 6-story pagoda had 999 slaughter occult. Jian Wuxuang had mastered 998. The last one had always troubled him. Now, he finally understood it. I finally understand. Jian Wuxuang murmured. Madness in a hopeless situation. The sudden enlightenment helped Jian Wuxuang master the last slaughter occult. Jian Wuxuang now understood all 999 slaughter occult of level 1 restriction of 6-story pagoda. With the new understanding, he unlocked level 1 restriction and found its inner rule. That's it. That's why Master Di Jing said that I would enter Dao as long as I unlocked level 1 restriction. It's the way from slaughter origin to slaughter Dao. Jian Wuxuang smiled softly. By unlocking the restriction, he had finished his last step to enter Dao. Soon, slaughter origin turned into slaughter Dao and appeared in front of Jian Wuxuang. The process went smoothly. In a short moment, the process was completed. Onlookers saw Jian Wuxuang close his eyes but didn't know what he was doing. Emperor Golden Snake clenched his fists. He had a diabolical look on his face. Impossible! He shouted, and the 8 Emperor Golden Snake reappeared and rushed towards Jian Wuxuang. Unexpectedly, Jian Wuxuang's sword had been able to do it as it continued its onslaught after killing Emperor Golden Snake. The sword essence wave continued along its path and onlookers in that direction naturally became targets. No! Hurry and escape! Cries of panic filled the air. It was fortunate that Temple Master Pure Moon arrived in time to fend it off, so that no one got hurt. Calm was restored after the sword essence wave dissipated. But for many of those present, their emotions were in turmoil. Everyone looked at Jian Wuxuang in shock. Jian Wuxuang's face was expressionless. Near where he stood, Emperor Golden Snake's original body had been cut and he began to fall powerlessly on the ground. Am I going to die? Emperor Golden Snake appeared confused. Things had changed so fast. He didn't know what had happened during the time he closed his eyes. He had increased his strength so much in such a short period. A terrible sword move had killed him. I was supposed to avenge my son in this life-death duel. I didn't expect to dig a grave for myself. Jian Wushuang, I never thought I would be defeated by you. But don't get too complacent. Even if I will die, I won't make it easy on you. With his last breath, Emperor Golden Snake took out a jade slip and sent a message. Master, I have a compass, it's a treasure. If you want to get the ancient world token, the compass is the key. Chapter 556, Perfect Slaughter Dao. Chapter 556, Perfect Slaughter Dao. On the battlefield, Emperor Golden Snake died and his body fell to the ground. Jian Wushuang walked to Emperor Golden Snake's corpse, taking away his black scimitar and interspatial ring. After doing that, he looked around. Outside the battlefield, the onlookers were silent. But their emotions were in turmoil. No one had thought that Jian Wushuang would survive the life-death duel. But it turned out. Jian Wushuang was alive and Emperor Golden Snake was dead. A divine emperor had been killed by a saint realm. Shock, bewilderment. They struggled to calm their thoughts. In the void where divine emperors had gathered, the sovereigns were also shocked. They had been surprised to see Emperor Golden Snake show his real strength, his comprehension of Phantom Saber principle and triple Phantom Saber moves. They knew that Emperor Golden Snake's real strength was remarkable, even though he was slightly weaker than superior emperors. Emperor Golden Snake's reveal of the true extent of his skills meant that he was nearly as strong as superior emperors. Among the 108 divine emperors of Monster Exterminating League, only Emperor Fengxiao and a few others were stronger than him. There had been no doubt that he would prevail in the battle. But no one had expected that Jian Wushuang to kill Emperor Golden Snake. The terrible sword move which had split the restriction after killing Emperor Golden Snake still held them in shock and awe. That sword move had been too terrifying. No divine emperor present dared to say that they would be able to fend it off without being wounded. If I tried my best, I would have to slash twice to split the restriction. But Jian Wushuang did it with one sword move, which had been weakened by killing Emperor Golden Snake. He makes me feel a bit diminished by comparison. Emperor Fengxiao said, eyes sparkling. He had thought highly of Jian Wushuang and had hoped that he would survive. Luckily, Jian Wushuang's performance in the life-death duel exceeded his expectations. If I'm right, Jian Wushuang made a breakthrough. That is Dao. That's why there was a tremendous increase in his strength. Emperor Xieying said seriously, he entered Dao. It is. Besides, it is perfect, pure and different from our Dao which is built on sword principle and saber principle. Emperor Fengxiao nodded heavily. Perfect Dao. Divine emperors marveled Jian Wushuang's accomplishment and looked at him in admiration. 9 temple masters stood at the top high void. All of them were shocked. Slaughter Dao, perfect Slaughter Dao. Good, a saint realm evolved perfect Slaughter Dao from origin without the help of sword principle, Jian Wushuang. An exceptional genius. Temple Master Pure Moon praised. Perfect and pure origin Dao, it is stronger than our Dao which built on weapon Dao. Among us, only Wushan's Earth Dao is on par with his. They looked at a burly man with a giant axe on his back, who had previously defended Jian Wushuang against an injustice. The burly man smiled, though Earth Dao is perfect and pure, it is a defensive Dao. Jian Wushuang's Slaughter Dao is the strongest in origin Dao. Therefore, he is far stronger than me in offensive power. Different Dao had different power. Jian Wushuang's Slaughter Dao was far more powerful than the burly man's Earth Dao in offensive power. Before Jian Wushuang comprehended Dao, his battle strength was on par with a normal divine emperor. Now, his strength has increased so much that he is definitely as strong as a superior emperor. In terms of offensive power, it is possible that no one in Monster Exterminating League is better than him. Temple Master Pure Moon said. Those present nodded in agreement. They had seen how Jian Wushuang had killed Emperor Golden Snake. That power was amazing. Iceberg, you did so much to set up the duel. You gained nothing. On the contrary, you suffered a double loss. Temple Master Pure Moon looked at Temple Master Iceberg who appeared stunned. Temple Master Iceberg's countenance was an accurate reflection of his thoughts. He was stunned and not by Emperor Golden Snake's death, but by the message Emperor Golden Snake had given him. The message had been sent to him. A compass? Golden Snake had a compass. It's a treasure that concerns the ancient world token. Temple Master Iceberg was mulling over Emperor Golden Snake's message. If you want to get ancient world token, the compass is the key. He had never told me about it before. Luckily, it's not too late. Temple Master Iceberg narrowed his eyes and looked at Jian Wushuang. At the same time, Temple Master Pure Moon made a move and appeared on the battlefield. The life-death duel is over. Jian Wushuang, follow me. Temple Master Pure Moon's voice resounded through the area. Jian Wushuang nodded, followed Temple Master Pure Moon and left. The experts in the Bloodshed Valley began to depart as they continued to discuss the duel. It was over. The life-death duel which had attracted so many experts to watch had finally ended. The result was beyond everyone's expectations. Jian Wushuang was alive and Emperor Golden Snake was dead. A Saint Realm had killed a Divine Emperor in a head-on fight. The amazing story spread rapidly from the holy place to 8 cities and to every tribe and corner of the monster continent. Within a day, Jian Wushuang had become a popular topic of conversation among the human group on the monster continent. Chapter 557, Sword Emperor. Chapter 557, Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang stood in the meeting hall while the rest of the figures were sitting on chairs. These figures were all temple masters, and there were 9 of them in total. The only person here that Jian Wushuang knew was Temple Master Pure Moon. He had never met the other 8 temple masters, who, at this very moment, were staring at him as if he was a monster. He comprehended the slaughter Dao while still in the Saint Realm and had the battle strength of a superior emperor, which was simply incredible. It's a pity that such a peerless genius is an outsider and not originally from our monster continent. The temple masters whispered. Jian Wushuang. Temple Master Pure Moon suddenly spoke. You killed Emperor Golden Snake during the life-death duel, so your strength is already equal to a superior emperor. Hence, you can become a divine emperor of our monster exterminating league in place of Golden Snake. Are you willing to take the position? If Jian Wushuang had been from the monster continent, he would definitely agree to become a divine emperor without any hesitation. But he was an outsider, so he had to personally agree before they could appoint him as a divine emperor. Divine emperor? Jian Wushuang thought for a moment before nodding. Yes. His strength had a lot of room for improvement and he was not in a hurry to leave the monster continent. Furthermore, he wanted to make use of some resources from the Monster Exterminating League to enhance his strength. Therefore, he definitely had to become a divine emperor. Being a divine emperor comes with some obligations that I hope you can meet. After all, the resources of the Monster Exterminating League can't be used for free, said Temple Master Pure Moon. No problem. Jian Wushuang nodded again. It was natural that he would have to perform certain duties if he wanted to receive rewards. Since you're a divine emperor now, you can give yourself a title, said Temple Master Pure Moon. All of the divine emperors and temple masters of the Monster Exterminating League used their own titles, so few people knew their real names. Title? Jian Wushuang thought for a while before he said with a smile, in my hometown, experts at the divine emperor level are called sovereigns. Plus, my surname, Jian, means sword and I'm good at sword principle. So, from today on, I'll be known as Sword Emperor. Sword Emperor? Temple Master Pure Moon nodded slightly. I'll quickly spread the news that you have been appointed as a divine emperor. After that, it won't take long for the information to spread to the human population and the demonic beasts. Everyone on the monster continent will hear about your title, Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang gave a faint smile, but he didn't really care. Sword Emperor. Just then, a bearded middle-aged man, who was sitting on one of the seats, opened his mouth. After hearing this middle-aged man's voice, Temple Master Pure Moon and the other temple masters had strange expressions on their faces. The middle-aged man was none other than Temple Master Iceberg. If it had not been for him, the life-death duel between Jian Wushuang and Emperor Golden Snake wouldn't have even happened. Do you have anything to say, Temple Master Iceberg? Temple Master Pure Moon asked with great interest. Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed slightly as he immediately looked at Temple Master Iceberg. Ha. Temple Master Iceberg smiled with a soft face as he looked at Jian Wushuang in a very friendly manner. I just want to apologize to you, Sword Emperor. Apologize? The other Temple Master's expressions changed a bit. Jian Wushuang's expression also changed slightly. Alas! Temple Master Iceberg let out a light sigh and said, I watched Golden Snake grow up, step by step, and he had always been extremely respectful to me. When he came to me, begging, I promised to give him a hand for the sake of the respect he had shown me all these years. I was wrong, but I hope you don't take it amiss, Sword Emperor. If you're discontented with me, say it out. I can offer some treasures or monster cores as compensation. Temple Master Iceberg's words were very sincere, as if he was really apologizing to Jian Wushuang. His behavior greatly surprised Temple Master Pure Moon and the others. After all, Temple Master Iceberg ranked third among the Temple Masters in the Monster Exterminating League. Besides, he had always been quite domineering. Few of the other Temple Masters dared to provoke him. For that reason, when he came forward on behalf of Emperor Golden Snake, few Temple Masters dared to not give him face. But now, Temple Master Iceberg, who was usually so domineering, actually made amends to a divine emperor of his own accord. Did the sun rise in the east? Even Jian Wushuang felt a bit overwhelmed at the moment. What's going on with Temple Master Iceberg? He frowned secretly. Temple Master Iceberg stood up for Emperor Golden Snake and had indeed provoked Jian Wushuang this time, but Jian Wushuang knew himself very well. Although he had the battle strength of a superior emperor, it was very likely that his strength was nothing in the eyes Temple Master Iceberg, so he didn't need to make amends at all. However, Temple Master Iceberg did apologize. Additionally, he didn't put on airs and even apologized to him in the presence of all the other Temple Masters. Although Jian Wushuang didn't understand and didn't want to let it go that simply, he didn't want to fall out with Temple Master Iceberg on the surface. Temple Master Iceberg, it doesn't matter. It was mainly Emperor Golden Snake's fault and you had little to do with it. I don't blame you. Thank you, Sword Emperor. Temple Master Iceberg had a kind expression on his face. Temple Masters, if there's nothing else, then I'll take my leave. After that, Jian Wushuang saluted towards the Temple Masters and turned to walk away. He had barely managed to exit when Temple Master Iceberg proceeded to follow him out as well. This left Temple Master Pure Moon and the others even more confused. Is there something wrong with Temple Master Iceberg today? TSK, Temple Master Iceberg, who is known for being extremely overbearing, actually apologized to a divine emperor of his own accord. This is not his usual style. I feel there must be something fishy going on here. All these Temple Masters talked and laughed casually. They were not fools, so they all understood that Temple Master Iceberg must have acted that way because he had some hidden intentions. But they didn't know what these hidden intentions were exactly. Temple Master Iceberg kept up with Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor. Temple Master Iceberg came to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang stopped and asked in amazement. What can I do for you, Temple Master Iceberg? I do need your help with a small matter. Temple Master Iceberg was all smiles and gently said, well, let's talk as we walk. Jian Wushuang was vigilant in the heart, but he continued to walk with Temple Master Iceberg. After all, this was the Holy Palace. Temple Master Iceberg was a Temple Master and was a powerful force in the Monster Exterminating League, so he wouldn't attack Jian Wushuang overtly here. I'd like to figure out exactly what this Temple Master Iceberg is up to. Jian Wushuang thought secretly. Chapter 558, A Mysterious Compass. Chapter 558, A Mysterious Compass. Sword Emperor, hear me out. Temple Master Iceberg started telling his story. Golden Snake was a junior of mine, and I once gave him a token. It might not have any value, but it means a lot to me. Now that Golden Snake has died and the token is in your hands, I was hoping that you would return it to me. Of course, I'll satisfy any condition you have for returning it to me, Temple Master Iceberg said sincerely. Jian Wushuang pondered over what to do after hearing these words. A token? Why does he value this token so much? What token are you referring to? Jian Wushuang asked. It's a compass. I think it's in Golden Snake's interspatial ring, Temple Master Iceberg answered. A compass? Jian Wushuang asked and smiled. Temple Master Iceberg, you know that I've just experienced a life-death duel and haven't been able to check the ring yet, so I have no idea if the compass is in the ring. How about I go back first and search through the ring carefully? I'll reply to you if I find it, okay? There was an imperceptible surprise in Temple Master Iceberg's eyes, but he still nodded. Fine. Then, I'll look forward to hearing your reply. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded and left. As he watched Jian Wushuang's retreating figure, the gentle and smiling expression on Temple Master Iceberg's face suddenly became deadpan, then a sliver of light flashed in his eyes. This boy is quite alert. Temple Master Iceberg clenched his fist. Maybe I was too impatient and aroused his suspicion. In the following days, it would be better to wait patiently for his reply. The more impatient I behave, the more suspicious he will be. Temple Master Iceberg's eyes became even more chilling. He was determined to get the compass because it was related to the ancient world token. Whatever it takes, I have to get that compass. After leaving Temple Master Iceberg's place, Jian Wushuang immediately found an empty secret chamber and began to check Emperor Golden Snake's interspatial ring. There were many treasures in the ring, including 2 rank 9 monster cores. After a careful search, Jian Wushuang found the compass. It was yellow, rusty, and about the size of a palm, with a chip on the edge that made it seem even more ancient. The compass was made of the same ordinary materials that were used in making magic weapons. Is this the compass Temple Master Iceberg wants? Jian Wushuang frowned. Since this compass is something that Temple Master Iceberg values so much, it should be more extraordinary. I don't understand why he apologized to me just to get this item. Jian Wushuang observed the compass and found nothing special about it. The compass was very common both in its look and material. Nobody would even notice it if it were in a market. Could it be that the secret lies inside the compass? Jian Wushuang pondered and then submerged his consciousness into the compass. Normally, important information was recorded inside jade slips and tokens, so it required one to read them using their consciousness. However, it turned out that Jian Wushuang was wrong. He could read nothing inside the compass. What's wrong with it? Were Temple Master Iceberg's words about the compass being just a normal and useless token true? He wants it just because it has a special meaning to him. Jian Wushuang was rather confused. However, he quickly turned down that idea. If it is a special token, why did he give it to Emperor Golden Snake? There must be some secrets hidden in the compass that I failed to notice. Whatever, the compass is mine now. Temple Master Iceberg has nothing to do with it. Jian Wushuang put the compass back in the ring. The next moment, he began studying the Slaughter Dao. Because of the 6-story pagoda, he had made progress in comprehending the Slaughter Dao, which was proven to be much more powerful than Emperor Golden Snake's Phantom Saber principle. He even found the Slaughter Dao more powerful than the Water Drop Sword principle, which Emperor Fengshao studied, the Illusory Sword principle, which Su Ming studied, and the Heart Sword principle, which Blind Emperor studied. Those people might have a better comprehension in the principles than Jian Wushuang did, but in terms of pure power, the Slaughter Dao surpassed them all. While those principles were a mixture of the origin and sword principle or saber principle, the Slaughter Dao came purely from the origin. With his doubt in mind, Jian Wushuang immersed himself in studying. As Jian Wushuang was digging into the Slaughter Dao, the news of him killing Emperor Golden Snake and becoming a divine emperor in the Monster Exterminating League spread throughout the human populations, as well as the entire continent. His name, Sword Emperor, was memorized by everyone. He was the only divine emperor who was in the Saint Realm on the monster continent. Along an unbroken ridge in human territory, there was a vast palace hidden underground. In that palace, a black-robed elder was reading the latest intelligence with squinted eyes. Sword Emperor Jian Wushuang. As a Saint Realm expert, he is as powerful as a superior emperor. What an impressive kid. Human beings really can be talented. Luckily, he is an outsider from another plane world, so he's not likely to be a threat to us even if he grows more powerful someday. Otherwise, we would have to eliminate such a peerless genius as soon as possible. The elder's words revealed his identity. He was a monster spy who had slipped into the human population. The palace he was in was an important information station for those monster spies. Well, Emperor Golden Snake, since you were a divine emperor who died at the hands of another human, you really saved us a lot of trouble. The elder continued reading the information regarding the life-death duel between Jian Wushuang and Emperor Golden Snake. Chapter 559, Emperor's Order. Chapter 559, Emperor's Order. Oh? Emperor Golden Snake had been hiding his true power. This fact aroused the black-robed elder's interest, but he was instantly stunned when he learned that Emperor Golden Snake had comprehended the Phantom Saber principle and displayed the terrifying triple Phantom Saber moves. Phantom Dao. So he is the human emperor that crystal-armored monster emperor has been looking for? The elder was so astonished that his glowing red eyes almost popped out of his head. He read through the report carefully once again and studied the profile of Emperor Golden Snake before finally coming to a conclusion. Although Emperor Golden Snake had comprehended the Phantom Dao, he hid it from the others and kept a low profile. It wasn't until the life-death duel with Jian Wushuang that he was finally forced to expose these techniques. The elder's eyes sparkled. Right. Emperor Golden Snake is the only human expert who mastered the Phantom Dao, so he must be the one crystal-armored monster emperor has been looking for. Finally, crystal-armored monster emperor can get him. However, he is already dead. The elder pondered. Whatever, it's better to report the news to crystal-armored monster emperor first. The elder immediately sent a message to crystal-armored monster emperor. The monster's territory was much more vast than the human's territory. In a certain part of the territory, there was a large ancient forest, which was home to a group of horrible monsters known as the Crystal-Armored Monster Clan. At the center of the forest, there was a cave mansion that led to the underground. A sudden loud shout broke the silence inside the mansion. Ha! After searching for so many years, we have finally tracked down that damn human emperor. The voice was domineering, with a hit of joy and excitement mixed in. It was also so loud that it resounded through the area and disturbed the tranquility of the forest. I never thought that Emperor Golden Snake would be the man I was looking for since he was a nameless divine emperor. It's been 40 years since he seized the compass by relying on his Phantom Dao. He knew I was looking for him, so he never displayed that technique to others during all these years. He remained hidden for so long, only to expose himself while facing a deadly situation, but he still died in the end. What a pity. Since he is dead, the compass must have fallen into the hands of Sword Emperor. Sword Emperor. The muttering voice suddenly became excited. Tell them to kill Sword Emperor at all costs, then bring his body and interspatial ring back to me, the voice ordered. That compass belongs to me alone. Inside the Monster Spies Information Center, the black-robed elder had just received the order from Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor. Sure enough, Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor ordered to us to kill Sword Emperor, no matter the cost. However, Sword Emperor is a superior emperor and it will be hard for us to kill him with only the current force that is hidden in the human territory. The elder was staring at the ground, lost in thought, but he quickly reached a decision and looked up. It seems that we have to ask that Lord for help. Among the monster spies in human territory, some of them were powerful while some were weak. The weak were the demonic beasts in the Saint Realm and Cloud Realm, but the most powerful ones could even fight against divine generals and divine emperors. Some talented spies even managed to have a breakthrough in their cultivation after entering the human territory. Among those spies, the most powerful one should be G, who had exceeded the power of a rank 9 monster and reached the level of a monster king. In the Monster Exterminating League, Monster Kings were supreme experts that were as powerful as Temple Masters. Master G. The black-robed elder went to a secret chamber and called out respectfully. The chamber was closed all year round because the master spent most of his time cultivating and rarely came out. "What's the matter?" the master asked in a frigid voice. "Crystal-armored Monster Emperor ordered us to kill a human emperor at all costs and take his body and interspatial ring back. However, this human emperor is a superior emperor that is extremely powerful. We can't kill him on our own, so I came to ask you for help," the elder answered. As soon as the elder's voice fell, the chamber opened and a hairy, black-skinned man came out. The man was over 2 meters tall and looked as strong as a brown bear. He was none other than G. "You just said it was Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor's order?" G stared at the elder. "Yes." The elder nodded. "I've just received the order, but you can verify it yourself." Without hesitation, G sent a message to Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor and quickly received a positive answer. Even though he was Monster King and as powerful as a human Temple Master, he was no match for Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor, so he dared not go against the Emperor's order. After all, Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor was a true overlord among the monsters. "Where is Sword Emperor?" G questioned. "He is in the holy place," said the elder. "The holy place?" G shook his head. "The holy place is very important to the humans, so the #1 expert, Temple Master Black Spirit, always keeps an eye on it. It's also where the relic is stored, so I would only be seeking death if I went there to kill Sword Emperor." "I understand. From now on, I'll have someone waiting outside the holy place at all times," said the elder. "As far as I know, Sword Emperor is an outsider who is only in the Saint Realm. He chose to stay and act as a divine emperor of the Monster Exterminating League, so he must be planning to improve himself with the League's resources. To gain those resources he will need to hand over monster cores, and to gain those cores he has to leave the holy place. Once he enters the military camp or our monster territory, we'll have the perfect chance to kill him." "Fine. When he leaves the holy place, make sure to inform me." After saying this, G walked back into the chamber. Chapter 560, Bad Blood. Chapter 560, Bad Blood. Jian Wushuang stayed inside the holy place, immersing himself in the slaughter Dao, with no idea that he was being targeted by Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these days, he became more accustomed to the slaughter Dao. Now, he was able to use its power much more easily. However, he knew that this was only minor progress and that he still had a long way to go. So far, he was only able to use the power of the slaughter Dao on its own. He was still unable to combine it with his other skills. 10 days have passed. Temple Master Iceberg must be running out of patience, so it's time to give him an answer. Jian Wushuang smiled and went to meet Temple Master Iceberg. Among the palaces that covered the mountain in the holy place, there was a scarlet one, and the owner of that palace was naturally Temple Master Iceberg. The palace was well decorated and the master was sitting before a table, barefoot, drinking by himself. "I've yet to receive an answer from Jian Wushuang over these past 10 days. Temple Master Iceberg frowned. Maybe he discovered the secrets behind the compass. No, he couldn't have. Temple Master Iceberg shook his head. The compass is not a treasure at all. Its only value is related to Ancient World Token. Since he's still in the Saint Realm, he should still know nothing about the token, so he won't be able to figure out anything regarding the compass. Moreover, I apologized to him and flattered him as much as I could. If he is smart, he should know to avoid offending me for an object that he doesn't know the value of." Temple Master Iceberg was lost in thought when a guard came and reported to him. "Temple Master, Sword Emperor is asking to see you." "He's finally arrived." Temple Master Iceberg's eyes lit up. "Let him in." After the guard left, Jian Wushuang quickly walked in. "Temple Master Iceberg," Jian Wushuang said modestly. "Sword Emperor, finally, here you are." Temple Master Iceberg wore a big smile and waved towards Jian Wushuang. Come, take a seat, let's enjoy a drink together. No, but thank you. I don't feel like drinking right now. Jian Wushuang shook his head and continued, Temple Master Iceberg, I've searched through Emperor Golden Snake's interspatial ring for that compass you wanted. Temple Master Iceberg immediately looked toward Jian Wushuang with expectation. But, I'm really sorry, I didn't find that compass, said Jian Wushuang. You didn't find it? Temple Master Iceberg's smile disappeared. He continued in a gentle voice, did you search for it carefully? I gave that compass to Golden Snake in person, and he took it with him wherever he went. It must be in his interspatial ring. I've looked through the ring almost 100 times, but I was unable to find it. Jian Wushuang shook his head again. Maybe, I was being too careless. After all, there are a lot of treasures in the ring and I don't know what it looks like. Could you describe it to me? Maybe tell me its shape, size, color, or something else about it. I'll check for it again. Its shape and size? Temple Master Iceberg paused. He did know that Emperor Golden Snake had a compass in his interspatial ring, but he had never seen it himself. Sword Emperor. Temple Master Iceberg looked serious. Frankly speaking, I didn't actually give Golden Snake the compass myself, but it's true that it means a lot to me, so I hope that you can give it back to me, and I'll owe you a favor, okay? Owe me a favor? Upon hearing those words, Jian Wushuang was even more sure that the compass had to be unusual. Otherwise, Temple Master Iceberg would not have made a promise so easily. They both knew that it was always hard to settle a debt, maybe even harder for a master like Temple Master Iceberg. If it was someone else who was asking, then I might agree to their request, but this Temple Master Iceberg, Jian Wushuang smiled coldly in the heart. He had not forgotten that it was Temple Master Iceberg who had promoted the life-death duel between Golden Snake and him, even though he knew that, as a Saint Realm expert, Jian Wushuang would inevitably die in that battle. Had it not been for the fact that Jian Wushuang broke through to the Slaughter Dao during the battle, he might have died already. In one word, because of Temple Master Iceberg, he had been forced to place one foot in the grave. He was completely enraged and would not get over it with just a simple apology. Most importantly, Jian Wushuang understood that Temple Master Iceberg didn't apologize to him because he felt sorry, it was only in order to get the compass. Jian Wushuang reckoned that he would not pay attention to him at all if he did not have the compass. Temple Master Iceberg, few people in the Monster Exterminating League would dare to refuse a favor from you. But, I'm terribly sorry, I'm unable to find the compass you want in the ring, Jian Wushuang said directly. He told a lie with a straight face. Temple Master Iceberg looked grave. Jian Wushuang. The master's voice turned icy as he called Jian Wushuang by his name. I've shown enough respect to you. Don't force me to do this the hard way. Temple Master Iceberg gazed at Jian Wushuang and said, the compass is useless to you, so just give it to me or. Jian Wushuang showed a cold look. Or you'll kill me on spot and then seize the interspatial ring. Temple Master Iceberg paused. Even though he was one of the most powerful Temple Masters in the Monster Exterminating League, he was not the strongest. There was another terrifying person, Temple Master Black Spirit, who was superior to him. Therefore, he dared not kill Jian Wushuang while inside the holy place. Jian Wushuang, do you really want there to be bad blood between us? Temple Master Iceberg asked frigidly. No, of course not. I just simply didn't see the compass in the ring. Jian Wushuang answered in a low voice. However, he sneered in the heart. Show me respect? It was only because you wanted the compass. When you saw it wasn't working, you even tried to threaten me. Shame on you, Temple Master Iceberg. Chapter 561, the 10th level. Chapter 561, the 10th level. Currently, there was a frigid atmosphere in the hall. Temple Master Iceberg stared at Jian Wushuang with a grim look and Jian Wushuang looked him directly in the eye. Fine. After a long time had passed, the master finally spoke. Since you don't have the compass, just leave. Jian Wushuang retreated without hesitation. While watching Jian Wushuang walk away, Temple Master Iceberg had a vicious look in his eyes and he clenched his fists so tightly that his fingernails almost pierced his skin. Jian Wushuang, since you're being stubborn, don't blame me for being merciless. After exiting Temple Master Iceberg's palace, Jian Wushuang let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, even though Temple Master Iceberg is desperate to get that compass, he didn't go crazy and try to kill me inside the holy place. Jian Wushuang thought. Just now, he had been worried that the master would really try to kill him. If so, he had no confidence in his ability to survive. He let me go this time, but I'm sure he won't hesitate if he ever gets the chance to kill me. Jian Wushuang had spotted the killing intent in Temple Master Iceberg's eyes. Compared to Emperor Golden Snake, Temple Master Iceberg is a more difficult opponent. He's completely overbearing and hypocritical. Emperor Golden Snake tried to kill me to get revenge for his son. At least that was reasonable. As for Temple Master Iceberg, a chilling light flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. If only I was stronger than him. Jian Wushuang growled silently, unwilling to accept the fact that he was still too weak. Because of him, Jian Wushuang had been forced to risk his life in the battle with Emperor Golden Snake, and even now, he was being pushed into a corner again. Yet, he had to bear it all because he was too weak. Currently, he had hit a bottleneck and the only way to greatly improve his power was by condensing the 9 origin marks so that he could reach the level of flying to the 9th heaven. Other than that, any improvement in the bone fusion technique and sword principle might be helpful as well. With that in mind, Jian Wushuang immediately went to the monster exterminating pagoda and exchanged for the 10th level of the bone fusion technique. The 10th level was very precious, so purchasing it required a lot of monster cores. Luckily, Jian Wushuang had gained enough cores from Emperor Golden Snake's interspatial ring, enabling him to purchase it. As for the highest levels, the 11th and 12th levels could not be acquired using monster cores. Those 2 levels were of great value and could not even be found in the monster exterminating pagoda. The only way to obtain them was to go to the 5th floor of the Earth Core Palace, where the relic was stored, and comprehend them directly. However, there was a high requirement for cultivators to enter that floor, and even Jian Wushuang, who was a divine emperor, did not meet that requirement for the time being. After going back to his residence, Jian Wushuang started to practice the 10th level of the bone fusion technique. The further he progressed, the harder it became. It had taken him a half-month to master level 9. Obviously, it would take him more time to master the 10th level. Time went by slowly. In the Monster Spies Information Center, an elder had just finished reading a message and began to frown. Why hasn't Sword Emperor left the holy place even once during the last 2 months? The elder was using every source available to him in the human territory to keep an eye on Jian Wushuang. Therefore, he knew Jian Wushuang's every action. Sword Emperor acquired the 10th level of the bone fusion technique 2 months ago, and it seems that he has been cultivating ever since then. I thought he would leave the holy place and enter the military camp or monster territory after he became a divine emperor. However, I was wrong. I'm afraid that he won't come out until he has mastered the 10th level. Few temple masters have managed to master the 10th level and he is only in the Saint Realm, so I don't know how long we'll have to wait for him to come out, the elder pondered. In the past, it wouldn't have bothered him at all to wait. But now, it was a direct order from Crystal Armored Monster Emperor, and he was very eager to get the compass, so he had already urged the elder to seize it 3 times. Crystal Armored Monster Emperor will be mad if I don't present the compass to him within the near future. There is no use waiting for him to leave the holy place willingly. I have to find a way to draw him out, the elder thought. He picked up a file from the desk, on which everything Jian Wushuang had done since he came to the monster continent was written in detail, including how he had been saved by the Wu Yen tribe. Wu Yen tribe, the elder raised his eyebrows. According to the file, Jian Wushuang lived in Wu Yen tribe for over a month, and in order to disguise his identity as an outsider, he claimed to be one of them after he left there, so he must have a good relationship with them. Let me make some trouble for the Wu Yen tribe. The elder smiled coldly. If the tribe gets into danger, Sword Emperor will definitely leave the holy place to save them. The elder immediately issued his order. 3 days later, in the Green Hillock tribe of the human territory. The Green Hillock tribe bordered Wu Yen tribe. When Jian Wushuang was in Wu Yen tribe, they had once caught a spy from the Green Hillock tribe. It was night, and the whole area was completely silent. 5 figures slowly approached the Green Hillock tribe. Listen, our mission is to eliminate the Green Hillock tribe. Do it as quickly and as cruelly as possible. We have to scare the Wu Yen tribe and force their leader to ask Sword Emperor for help. Understood. The 5 figures discussed their plans in a low voice before finally arriving at the entrance to the Green Hillock tribe. Chapter 562, Exiting the Holy Place. Chapter 562, Exiting the Holy Place. Jian Wushuang, as one of the divine emperors, had his own residence in the holy place, and it was a fairly large manor. At this moment, he was busy exercising inside his manor. He was in the horse stance, with his upper body naked and his fists tightly clenched, releasing punches, one after the other, and his every move would cause an exploding sound to reverberate throughout the area. Naturally, he was covered in sweat. After a long time had passed, he finally stopped and moved to a stone table, where he proceeded to gulp down the container of water that was on it. He let out a sigh. Though he looked tired, there was joy in his eyes. Finally, I've mastered the 10th level of the bone fusion technique after 2 months of practicing. Jian Wushuang smiled. He had been cultivating hard during these last 2 months, all in order to strengthen his body. He had even bought some treasures from the monster exterminating pagoda, like the 9th heaven thunderbolts. These treasures had been quite helpful to him and he had finally succeeded in mastering the 10th level. It goes without saying that the 10th level was more powerful than the 9th level. As of now, Jian Wushuang's body was much stronger than before, but it was still far from its limits. From the time he first reached the level of Venerable Master until now, he had been slowly strengthening his body. I really want to know how incredible my body will be when it finally reaches its limits. Jian Wushuang was full of expectations. Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang heard a hearty voice right before a red-haired elder entered. Emperor Daofeng. Jian Wushuang stood up and looked at the elder. Emperor Daofeng, one of the 108 divine emperors, had an important position in the Monster Exterminating League. He was in charge of many issues regarding the human territory. Sword Emperor, I came here for only one reason. Emperor Daofeng went straight to the point. Please tell me then, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Even though the human territory takes up a small portion of the monster continent, it is still so vast. Because of this, many demonic beasts keep infiltrating our land and placing monster spies within our population. Those spies normally maintain a low profile and behave themselves for fear of being found, but several days ago some spies attacked a territory and slaughtered many experts for no reason. They slaughtered human beings inside the Huaman territory. Jian Wushuang was shocked. From what he had learned, monster spies usually wouldn't slaughter human beings unless they were exposed. Therefore, what the elder had told him was a rare case. Those attackers were very powerful. Some of them were even rank 7 or 8 monsters. So far, they have destroyed 4 tribes, said the elder gravely. In that case, you must be preparing to send some human experts there to kill those spies as soon as possible, said Jian Wushuang. He shot Emperor Daofeng a weird glance before asking, Emperor Daofeng, did you come here to ask me for help? Yes. Emperor Daofeng nodded. These spies are powerful and only divine emperors can kill them all. I came to ask you for help because those attacks took place near the Wu Yen tribe. What? Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly darkened. The Wu Yen tribe was where he had stayed when he first arrived on the monster continent. It was a place where he had felt some rare warmth in his life. He had only spent 1 month there, but he still held some feelings for the tribe. Wu Yu, the lovely girl with big eyes, and Qing Hu were still on his mind. Did those spies attack the Wu Yen tribe? Jian Wushuang could not help asking. Not yet, Emperor Daofeng answered. I came here because I knew you were from that tribe. Okay, I'll start off now. After saying that, Jian Wushuang left immediately and headed towards the tribe. In no time at all, a flowing light was seen heading from the holy place towards the Wu Yan tribe. Outside the holy place, the spies who had been watching the entrance reported the news the moment they saw Jian Wushuang come out. Inside the Monster Clan's information center, the black-robed elder smiled cruelly upon receiving the news. Sure enough, Sword Emperor set out to save the Wu Yan tribe without a hint of suspicion. But there's no reason for him to think that it was a trap set for him. The elder was right. It never occurred to Jian Wushuang that the whole thing was just a trap set to lure him out. He never thought that the Monster Clan would specifically target him since he was just an outsider. There were some cases where monster spies had murdered exceptional geniuses from the Monster Exterminating League before they could become really powerful. However, as an outsider and a superior emperor, Jian Wushuang was different. It would be insane for those spies to plan to kill him. What was beyond Jian Wushuang's expectation was that a monster emperor had been driven crazy by the compass he got from Emperor Golden Snake. Master Ji is ready. All we need to do is wait for Sword Emperor to arrive. The black-robed elder sneered. Over the years, he had managed to murder many geniuses and experts. Even though his current target was a superior emperor, he was still confident. At the same time, in a towering palace in the holy place, Temple Master Iceberg also received the news that Jian Wushuang had left the holy place. Finally, you went out by yourself. With the Wu Yan tribe in danger, you couldn't just stand by and watch. Temple Master Iceberg looked grim with an icy smile on his face. I thought you would never leave the holy place. It's true that I can't deal with you as long as you're in the holy place, but now that you've gone outside. Not long after Jian Wushuang left the holy place, Temple Master Iceberg left as well. Temple Master Pure Moon, help. I'm in the Blood Moon Plains right now and there are 8 rank 9 monsters, along with 1 Monster King, trying to kill me. Among all the Temple Masters, the only one from the Monster Exterminating League that Jian Wushuang really had any connection with was Temple Master Pure Moon, and his only messaging slip was from him, so this was the first time he asked him for help. In the East Camp, Temple Master Pure Moon was instantly shocked when he received Jian Wushuang's message. Monster spies are trying to kill Sword Emperor. 1 Monster King and 8 rank 9 monsters are attacking him together. The event was so urgent that Temple Master Pure Moon immediately contacted the other Temple Masters before replying to Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor, I've informed all the Temple Masters of your situation. Temple Master Black Feather and Temple Master 9C are leaving Heaven Wing City and on the way to Blood Moon Plains, but it might take them a half hour to get there. A half hour? Jian Wushuang looked grave. A half hour might be a short time, but his enemies were so powerful that the battle could be settled in a matter of several breaths. Run! Jian Wushuang roared in a low voice. Sword Emperor, you're not going to escape from here. From behind, the leader of the figures chased after Jian Wushuang at a higher speed. At the same time, a purple restriction arose and blocked Jian Wushuang's path. A restriction? Jian Wushuang looked even more terrible. Those spies are indeed well prepared. With so many experts hunting me, they still set up a restriction on the Blood Moon Plain. With only a glance, Jian Wushuang knew that he could not break the restriction in a short amount of time. Azura Secret Skill, Road to the Underworld. Azura Secret Skill, Bridge of Helplessness. Boom! The blood river swept out with a huge blood bridge hanging over it. The river was surged out and suppressed Jian Wushuang's enemies, along with the Sword Realm. Wang! A dazzling golden light flashed as the golden sword Soul Phantom appeared behind Jian Wushuang, followed by a supreme sword essence that swept the area. Jian Wushuang had the heart-killing sword in hand and his killing intent exploded as he reached the peak of his power. There was a fever in his eyes. Since I can't run away, I'll fight to the death. Chapter 564, Monster King. Chapter 564, Monster King. Stop struggling. The leader of the spies, Ji, laughed loudly while the raging flames approached Jian Wushuang. Ji was indeed the king of fire. Boom! Ji clenched his hands and punched toward Jian Wushuang with a force that was like a volcanic eruption. The air in the surrounding area began to burn and the eruption of power seemed to be causing the whole area to shake. Facing this power, the golden sword Soul Phantom, which was behind Jian Wushuang, attacked along with a burst of power from the heart-killing sword. The sixth move of the heart-killing sword technique, blood-drifting sword move. The technique was meant to kill. Before Jian Wushuang had comprehended the slaughter Dao, he could only display the fourth move of the technique, but now he had mastered the fifth and sixth moves as well. The Monster King, who was a king of fire, and Jian Wushuang, the emperor of sword principle, became embroiled in a fierce battle. The formidable power overwhelmed the surroundings and caused a storm of destruction to rage through the area. While Jian Wushuang was busy battling Ji, a new figure arrived on the Blood Moon Plain. The newcomer was no other than Temple Master Iceberg. Temple Master Iceberg wanted to get Jian Wushuang's compass no matter what it took. However, it was almost impossible to take it while he stayed inside the holy place, so he followed Jian Wushuang to the plain. The moment he arrived, he spotted the battle between Jian Wushuang and Monster King. That's Jian Wushuang and a group of monster spies. Temple Master Iceberg's eyes widened. What's going on? Are those spies trying to kill Jian Wushuang? Temple Master Iceberg was surprised. One Monster King and 8 rank 9 monsters have joined together to hunt Jian Wushuang. I never knew the demonic beasts had such a strong force hidden inside the human territory. However, this is good for me. Temple Master Iceberg was so thrilled that his face flushed red while his eyes filled with joy and excitement. Yes, joy and excitement. God is on my side. Temple Master Iceberg cried in secret. He had been very annoyed when he was unable to find a chance to kill Jian Wushuang. But now, these monster spies were providing him with the perfect opportunity. As he watched Ji's powerful attack rush towards Jian Wushuang, Temple Master Iceberg was impressed. He is indeed a powerful Monster King. The master happily cheered him on in his heart. Kill him. Kill him. As a human being and a temple master, his first thought should have been to save Jian Wushuang, but instead, he stood by and watched while hoping that the monster spies would kill Jian Wushuang. After that, he would kill the spies and claim the compass. With this scenario, he would not get into trouble. After all, it would not be him but monster spies that had killed Jian Wushuang. Boom! Finally, the energy storm dissipated and a messy figure shot backwards quite a distance before finally regaining its balance. The figure was Jian Wushuang, and even though he looked bad, his aura was still quite vigorous. It was obvious that he was not really injured. How is this possible? Ji looked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. How could he take my attack head-on and not get injured? It's time to run. After being knocked backwards by Ji, Jian Wushuang attempted to flee without any hesitation. Luckily, I mastered the 10th level of the bone fusion technique before I left the holy place, so my body is much stronger than it was before. Otherwise, I would not have been able to block this Monster King's attack. Jian Wushuang felt lucky. This Monster King really is a king among monsters. He is much more powerful than me. Jian Wushuang had tried his best to fight against him, but he was still overpowered. However, he had managed to weaken the strikes enough that he could withstand them. Even though my body is strong, I should be cautious and avoid facing him directly so that I can buy myself some time. Jian Wushuang analyzed the situation quickly. He was currently stuck here because of the restriction that covered this area. However, by relying on his realm technique, he would be able to deal with these spies for the time being without losing his life, as long as he did not fight with them head-to-head. Kill him. Ji chased after Jian Wushuang and closed in on him while surrounded by fire. As for the other 8 monster spies, they surrounded Jian Wushuang from all directions. Piss off! Jian Wushuang roared. The heart-killing sword struck out with the power of the slaughter Dao behind it and forced two enemies in front of Jian Wuxuang backwards. Hump. Although those rank 9 monsters can't hurt me at all, they can still cause me some trouble. Jian Wuxuang's eyes became cold. He did not need to fear any of the spies, except for the Monster King. He was confident that he could break through a joint attack from 3 rank 9 monsters. Go to hell, human. Ji approached Jian Wuxuang from behind, with his fist flying towards Jian Wuxuang like a meteorite falling from the sky. Jian Wuxuang was unable to completely dodge the incoming fist, so he used his swordsmanship to help deflect the blow. Boom! A booming sound echoed throughout the area as Jian Wuxuang was pressed down into the ground, causing a large crater to form. The next moment, Jian Wuxuang leaped aside and rushed away, continuing to prolong the battle. I used all my power in that blow just now, but it only wounded him slightly. While gazing at Jian Wuxuang, he could sense that Jian Wuxuang's aura was almost as powerful as before. He has mastered the 10th level of the bone fusion technique, which means his body is now among the strongest out of all the temple masters. Not only that, he is fast. He has already asked for help, so it won't take long for them to arrive here. Once that happens, I won't be able to kill him, and even escaping will be quite difficult. Chapter 565, The Evacuation. Chapter 565, The Evacuation. Ji looked grave. I have to kill him now. He roared towards the sky in his monster voice. The very next moment, his body began to bulge, growing from 2 meters to over 10 meters. At the same time, his appearance changed as well, becoming more fierce. He transformed into a giant red bear with a ferocious aura in no time. He revealed his original form. Temple Master Iceberg, who was hiding outside of the restriction, saw the sudden change, which caused his eyes to light up. These monster spies had gone through a lot of effort to change their look into that of a human beings, but the fact was, they were more powerful when in their original form. This Monster King's power doubled when he transformed back into his original form. I can't wait to see whether Jian Wuxuang can still fight back against him or not. Temple Master Iceberg was full of expectation and had become impatient because he knew that Jian Wuxuang's allies would arrive soon. Once that happened, he would lose his chance to kill Jian Wuxuang. Howl! The bear howled and charged at Jian Wuxuang like a moving mountain, with both of its huge paws punching towards Jian Wuxuang in succession. The bear's huge body did not slow its speed at all. Palm after palm, it punched toward Jian Wuxuang. Pang! Jian Wuxuang could not dodge all of the attacks and finally got hit by one of them. He immediately felt as if he had been struck by a mountain. His blood began surging wildly inside him, and a trace of it even flowed from between his lips and dripped down his pale face. His power is terrifying. Jian Wuxuang was shocked. Even with my strengthened body, I was still wounded. I'm afraid that taking 3 or 4 more palms would cost me my life. Jian Wuxuang was in shock, but the monster spies were completely dumbfounded. How is that possible? How could he manage to withstand my most powerful strike? Is his body really that strong? The spies all felt frightened by the fact that Jian Wuxuang had survived the Monster King's powerful blow with just his body. Among the 33 Temple Masters, other than Temple Master Black Spirit, who has mastered the 11th level of the bone fusion technique, no one could match Jian Wuxuang in physical defense. Ji growled silently. Right then, he received a message from his messaging slip. Master Ji, Temple Master Black Feather and Temple Master 9C are only 1,000 miles away, so they will arrive here in 15 minutes. They are so quick. Ji was surprised. From the moment they decided to kill Jian Wuxuang, they had prepared for everything. It had been clear to them that Jian Wuxuang would ask Human League for help and that Temple Master Black Feather and Temple Master 9C, the nearest 2 from the Blood Moon Plain, might come. So, they had arranged some spies to watch the roads to the plain. Ji made sure to know when the 2 Temple Masters would arrive. As for Temple Master Iceberg, he had followed Jian Wuxuang so cautiously that neither Jian Wuxuang nor the monster spies had spotted him. 15 minutes. Ji shot Jian Wushuang a ruthless glance. This is beyond my expectations. His body defense is so strong. Maybe I can kill in 15 minutes, but I probably can't take his body with me. This is not what crystal-armored monster emperor wants. Killing Jian Wushuang and taking back his body, as well as his interspatial ring, was what Ji had been told. Among them, the ring was the most important. Ji was not sure that he could kill Jian Wushuang and take his body away in only 15 minutes. Our mission has failed. Let's go. Ji quickly ordered. A moment later, his body began to shrink to the size of a normal human being's. He gave up killing Jian Wushuang and began to turn away. The other spies followed him without thinking. Did they give up on killing me? Jian Wushuang paused and felt relieved when he saw that the spies were planning to evacuate from the plane. However, Temple Master Iceberg, who was still in hiding, looked at the spies who were leaving with a grim expression. A group of trash. Temple Master Iceberg cursed. He had planned to seize Jian Wushuang's interspatial ring after those spies killed him, so it never occurred to him that the spies would fail despite gathering together such a powerful force. It looks like I will have to kill Jian Wushuang myself. Temple Master Iceberg's eyes took on a chilling look as he licked his lips. I may get in trouble after I kill him, but it doesn't matter as long as I can get the compass. Moreover, I don't believe the elders in the Monster Exterminating League will turn against me because of the death of an outsider. Having made up his mind, Temple Master Iceberg made his move. Whoosh! A flowing light flashed across the sky. Then, Temple Master Iceberg appeared with a long gold spear in his hand. The spear sparkled with a formidable power behind it. Then, in the next moment, it easily cut through the restriction on the plane. This move fully demonstrated his power, because even if it was Jian Wushuang, it would take him a rather long time to break this restriction that the spies went all out to set up. Jian Wushuang and the spies both spotted Temple Master Iceberg at the same time. Damn, he is a Temple Master from the Human League. Judging by his aura, he is Temple Master Iceberg. Damn, why is he here? Ji and the other spies all looked glum. Temple Master Iceberg was ranked in the top 3 among the Temple Masters in the Monster Exterminating League. He could kill all the spies here on his own. Temple Master Iceberg? Jian Wushuang was surprised by Temple Master Iceberg's sudden appearance. He was just as confused by Temple Master Iceberg's presence here as the spies were. He was confused. Why did Temple Master Iceberg arrive here before Temple Master Blackfeather and Temple Master 9C? Shouldn't he still be in the holy place? Chapter 566, Temple Master Iceberg's Killing Intent. Chapter 566, Temple Master Iceberg's Killing Intent. Unless, an idea crossed Jian Wushuang's mind. His expression instantly fell when he looked toward Temple Master Iceberg. He realized that the Temple Master had broken through the restriction from his side, so he was nearer to him than the monster spies. Jian Wushuang also noticed that the Temple Master was glaring at him instead of the escaping spies. He could even see a chilling killing intent in those eyes. He came to kill me, not to help me. Jian Wushuang quickly realized the Temple Master's true intent. He held the heart-killing sword tightly in one hand and drew several marks with the other hand, quickly activating the 18 levels of hell. At the same time, there was a light between his eyebrows, where a formidable sword essence was preparing to attack. In front of him, a jade bottle filled with a milky white liquid emerged, which turned out to be the icy heart poison. In such a short time, Jian Wushuang had already prepared his 3 killing moves. He never gave up easily. If Temple Master Iceberg really dared to attack him, he would fight back with every one of his killing moves. Though he knew he might not be able to kill the Temple Master, he could at least give him a tough battle. While filled with killing intent, Temple Master Iceberg gazed closely at Jian Wushuang, giving little attention to the spies. However, just as he was about to attack Jian Wushuang, he sensed a new aura arrive. The aura frightened him so much that his heart could not help twitching. His eyes betrayed his fear as he changed his target without even a second thought. Damn you monster spies! How dare you try to kill a human divine emperor? Let me send you to hell! He roared towards the spies, his voice echoing out over the plains. Jian Wushuang was astonished when he saw him give up killing him and start hunting the spies so crazily. What is he doing? Jian Wushuang was confused. He was quite sure that the temple master had come for him. He had even prepared for a life-and-death battle, so he never thought the temple master would change his mind. However, it didn't take him long to figure out the reason because he saw a lady appear in front of the spies. The lady looked pretty and stately in her blue dress, along with her blue hair that was hanging down to her feet. Even her eyes had a blue shine to them. She stood still, surrounded by waving ripples of air that made the others feel as if they were floating in a sea. Time seemed to be frozen. The escaping spies and Monster King all looked terrified when they saw this lady. Temple Master. Black Spirit. What is she doing here? Why did Temple Master Black Spirit, the #1 expert in the Human League, come here? The spies felt helpless and Monster King Ji looked pale. They knew that if they were facing Temple Master Iceberg they might be able to make it out alive. But now, they had to face Temple Master Black Spirit. Even the most powerful overlord among the monsters, Crystal-Armored Monster Emperor, might not be her match. Monster spies. The lady stood there, towering above them in the air. After giving a cold glance to the spies, she waved her hand. A blue wave immediately rolled out towards the spies and surrounded them. The spies struggled hard, but with a clench of the lady's hands, a cracking sound was heard as their throats were instantly crushed. A moment later, they all fell to the ground, dead. Jian Wushuang held his breath as he took in this scene. This lady had killed a monster king that was as powerful as a human temple master, along with 8 rank 9 monsters, with 1 casual strike. How powerful is she? The #1 expert in the Human League is truly powerful beyond belief. Temple Master Iceberg was filled with the same horror as Jian Wushuang. He hurried to Temple Master Black Spirit and greeted her respectfully. Temple Master Black Spirit. Temple Master Iceberg knew very well that he was no match for this lady despite being ranked within the top 3 of the Monster Exterminating League. It was her mighty power that frightened the demonic beasts on the monster continent. Therefore, she was the absolute leader of their league. Temple Master Iceberg dared not go against her. After putting away the spies' bodies and interspatial rings, Temple Master Black Spirit looked toward Temple Master Iceberg and said, Temple Master Iceberg, you acted so quickly. I hurried here as soon as I learned that some monster spies were attacking our Divine Emperor, but I still arrived here later than you. Temple Master Iceberg paused for a moment before he continued, I happened to be in the area when I received the news. I see. Temple Master Black Spirit raised her eyebrows, but she did not question him further. At that time, 2 flowing lights rushed toward them from the sky, and in no time, they had landed. They were none other than Temple Master Black Feather and Temple Master 9C. Temple Master Black Spirit, Temple Master Iceberg. The newcomers looked surprised to see Temple Master Black Spirit there and greeted her respectfully. Where are the monster spies? Temple Master Black Feather finally asked. I've killed them all. Sorry to have you hurry here in vain, said Temple Master Black Spirit. Temple Master Black Feather and Temple Master 9C were startled by those words. As far as they knew, Temple Master Black Spirit rarely left the holy place to go outside, so they could not understand why she had come to kill these spies in person. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.